Okay, in this video, we're going to learn about standard form of a quadratic function and how to graph something that's in that form by hand. So to tie this to what you've been learning, we're going to start with vertex form and we're going to expand that to quadratic form so we can kind of see the similarities and how maybe all these formulas are developed. So I'm going to start with my vertex form, and you've done this numerous times. We're going to expand that. So that parentheses squared is where we have to start. Remember, order of operations, you do parentheses and then exponents. And since that parenthesis is being squared, that means I need to multiply it by itself. So I'm going to take a moment here and I'm going to multiply the x minus h times x minus h. I have to distribute all this or FOIL it, whichever way you learned, but I'm going to kind of work that out to the side. And it looks a little weird because it's all just variables, right? So x times x times h times x, h times h. We still have the a and the k there. So the next thing I'm going to do is, like I've showed you in the past, I like to combine those like terms. So I have that xh happened 2 times, so I'm going to do 2 xh's, plus h squared plus k. And then from here, I can go and distribute my a value to everything that's in there. So ax squared minus 2axh plus ah squared plus k. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to line that up with this expanded form, okay, which is our standard form. So we can kind of see some similarities. And let's use some of those letters or colors. So they have a x squared minus bx, and then they have plus c. Okay, so we're going to kind of draw some relationships here. If you noticed, these two match perfectly, right? So I know that a will equal a. Okay, on the middle part here, I think I deleted a little plus sign there. The bx is equaling to the negative 2axh. Okay, so bx is equaling the negative 2axh. That's our linear term. Okay, now if you notice, they both have the x's, so we can kind of eliminate the x there. So that would make it negative 2ah. We also know in vertex form, h tells us where to go horizontally when we go to plot our vertex. So really I want to take this and solve it for h. So that means this negative 2a, I need to divide it to the other side to get h by itself. So I now know the h coordinate of the vertex, or the x value of the vertex, is the same as negative b over 2a. Okay, the last part here, the c value, we can figure, it kind of does equal this, which looks a little bit crazy, but we can figure out what the vertex's y coordinate is by using the coordinate we find for the x by substitution. So once we get this, this part here figured out, then we can go through and find the y. So this is just kind of where this formula comes from. It's not as crazy as it sounds, but let's go through and try one. So you've probably seen this before back in Algebra 1, so this might just be a refresher. So let's say I have this x squared minus 4x plus 12, and I want to find the vertex. So I maybe lead into graphing here in the future. So one thing to note, if you don't see a constant out front here or a coefficient, then you know it's a 1. So in this case, my a value is 1. The b value is the linear term here, so negative 4 is the b value, and the c term is 12. Okay, so I got my a, my b, and my c. So we're going to go ahead and solve this for the x coordinate of our vertex. So based on what we did here, that will be negative b over 2a. Okay, so in this case, my b is negative 4 over 2a, which makes negative 4 over 2. Well, when you have two negatives, that does become a positive. So really it's 4 over 2, which is 2. Okay? Now you're going to take that answer and you're just going to substitute it back into your original function to get the y value. So I'm going to do f of 2 to get that y value. So that would be 4 minus 8 plus 12, which is 8. So this is in a sense my h value, and this is in a sense the k. So I can say my vertex is 2, 8. Okay, that's the h and the k. So really, the goal is no negative b over 2a. Be careful with your positive and negative signs. Use it, substitute it in once you get the answer, and then that'll get you the y value. Okay, so you guys try this one in your notebook, and then you can check it on Desmos to see if it matches, but pause the video and then we'll go through how to do this. Okay, so on this one you should have got that a is 1, b is 6, and c is negative 8. So if I'm going to do the vertex, I'm going to do negative b over 2a, so negative a 6 over 2 times 1. So that will be negative 6 over 2, which makes negative 3. To get the y coordinate, now I'm going to do f of that. So I'm going to do f of negative 3. So everywhere there's an x, I'm substituting in that negative 3. Keep in mind, use those parentheses, especially on the negative ones, because when you're using your calculator, otherwise you might get the wrong solutions. Okay, so this one, we're going to get what? 9 minus 18 minus 8, which makes negative 17. So there's my vertex, negative 3, negative 17. Okay, again, you can type it in on Desmos, and when you type in this equation, you should notice that that's where the vertex is, negative 3, negative 17.